Hello, and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Trevor. I'm currently a senior information and computer technology major at East Carolina University. I've created the following video as part of my senior capstone and hope that it enhances your understanding of Linux concepts.
To get started, let me give you a brief introduction to what file archiving is and how we utilize archives in Red Hat Linux. An archive file is basically a container that holds one or more files inside. By archiving in combination with compression, we are able to squeeze numerous files into one compacted archive file. Common archive file types include zip, rar, 7-zip, and tar files. We will be using tar files in Linux. Although archive files were originally used as a solution to tape backups, archive files are commonly used to back up an entire directory structure. In Linux, files are placed into tar files, or tarballs. Their file extension is actually derived from tape archive. Now that you have a basic understanding of file archiving, let's take a look at the tar command in Red Hat Linux. Before I start using my Red Hat workstation, I'm going to introduce and explain the tar command and the relevant switches we'll be using. Firstly, the F command switch indicates that the file name of the archive will come next when issuing the tar command. In order to create a new tar archive, we need to use the C switch, which indicates that we'll be creating a new archive. After we create the archive, we can view its contents by using the T switch or -- list, which lists the file's contents. If we want to extract the contents of the archive, we can use the X command switch, which will extract the archive contents into the directory that it's currently in, unless we specify an alternate location. And lastly, one more basic switch is the V switch, which provides a verbose output. To clear up any confusion, check out this quick demonstration. So here we are in our RHEL 5 instance. As you can see, I've created a folder on my desktop called ArchiveMe, which I'll be using to create my archive. There are a variety of files in it, including image files, PDF documents, and a large text file. In total, the folder is about 72 megabytes in size. In order to send all of these files to someone, I'd archive them to one tar file so I don't have to send them as 8 separate attachments. I do so by using the C switch to create an archive. I should also mention that tar is one of the few commands in Linux that does not require a hyphen to come before the switches when entering the command. As you can see, our archive was created on the desktop and the files that were included were displayed in the terminal since I used the V switch for a verbose output. The archive is identical in file size to the original folder. Let's verify its contents before we send the file off by using the T switch or -- list. After issuing the list command, it is confirmed that all of my files have been included in the archive and I am now ready to send the file to my friend. After he receives it, he will save it to his desktop and use the X command switch to extract the archive. Although the file is located on his desktop, he wants to extract it to his home directory. He'll need to use one additional command switch here to change the output directory. By using the capital C switch, he can set the directory to his home folder like this. Now that you've seen the basics, you may be thinking that it's pretty unrealistic to send a 72 megabyte file in an email. And in reality, you're right, the file is too large. There are several methods in which we can archive and compress the contents all into one file by using one command. But before I show you, let's review those command switches and come back to our desktop in a moment. Just like file archiving, there are various methods of file compression as well. The two types of file compression we will use with tar are gzip and bzip2. Gzip is the most commonly used method of compression used in Linux, and when combined with tar, the file will have either a .tar.gz or just .tgz file extension. In order to utilize gzip when creating an archive, we will add one additional command line switch, the lowercase z. The bzip2 compression method is newer than gzip and provides the most efficient compression. However, it requires more processing power and may take longer when compressing large files. When compressing an archive with bzip2, The archive will have either a .tar, .bz2, or just .tbz file extension. In order to utilize the bzip2 compression method, we will use the J command line switch. Now let's go back to the workstation and use the compression methods on our archive. Here you can see the command line syntax for creating a tar archive with gzip compression. Take notice of the Z in the command line switches. By issuing this command, an archive named archiveme-gzip.tgz is created with gzip compression, and the process is verbosely displayed in the terminal. You can see that the compressed archive file has been created on our desktop. As we examine its properties, we can see that the file size has been reduced to just over 20 megabytes. That's quite a difference from its original 72. Let's try this again with bzip2 compression. We'll create another archive in addition to the one we've just made. Instead of using a Z switch, we'll use a J, which indicates bzip2 compression will be used. The archive will be named archiveme-bzip2.tbz and created on our desktop. Once again, the file size has been reduced to approximately 20 megabytes. Both of these archives should be able to be transmitted via email now. Once it is received, the archive may be extracted in the same way, regardless of its compression. To demonstrate, I've created a folder on the desktop called Extracted, which is where I'll be extracting the archive's contents. By simply issuing the tar command as shown earlier with a capital C switch to indicate our new directory, the archive is extracted and the directory structure is maintained.